Today we are going to start our lesson about the second type of economic efficiency, that is called allocative efficiency. In our last class we were talking about the different types of productive efficiencies like static, dynamic, technical, X efficiencies. Now we are talking about what we mean by allocative efficiency and how it can be achieved by the market forces of demand and supply, or by a single firm in its production process. So, allocative efficiency means when market forces are allocating resources in the production of those goods which are demanded by the consumers. If consumers are demanding cell phones and market for producers, they are supplying them, then resources are allocated in the right direction in which consumer demand is rising. Keep it in mind, we are having two types of allocative efficiencies right now, in the market and in the firm. What do we mean by allocative efficiency in the market? If I say this is the quantity, this is the price, this is the market demand of a good, and this is the market supply of a good. This is called a single market equilibrium. We are talking about a product, suppose it is a cell phone or education, anything. Whenever we talk about that, whatever the quantity is demanded by the consumers, it is supplied by the sellers, and market is operating at equilibrium. This is achieving what? Efficiency. Because market equilibrium is a point where we find no tendency to change. Whatever the quantity was demanded by the consumers, that was supplied by the sellers or producers. So this is called partial equilibrium. Partial means we are achieving this equilibrium condition at ceteris paribus condition. Ceteris paribus means when other factors are kept constant, that is the ceteris paribus condition. When whatever the demand curve is downward sloping, supply curve is upward sloping, so whatever the goods are demanded by the consumers, like income of the consumers, that is constant, taste, prices of other goods, weather conditions, and government policies, all they are kept constant, then we will have this type of demand curve. And market supply curve at ceteris paribus condition will have this type of supply curve. So whatever the goods were demanded by the consumers, they were supplied by the producers in a single product market. This is called partial equilibrium. Partial means this is a one market equilibrium, one product market equilibrium. And there are so many products in the markets. Market is a very, very big phenomenon. In that model, we can find the markets of all the goods and services, the markets of factors of production. So when all these markets, they are operating at equilibrium condition, that is called general equilibrium approach. General equilibrium means what? When all the markets, whatever the markets are available of all the products, when all those markets are operating at equilibrium condition, at equilibrium point, then we say there is going to be general equilibrium. The resources are allocated efficiently when all the markets, they are operating at equilibrium, not at ceteris paribus but at dynamic conditions. Clear? Because general equilibrium cannot be achieved within the certain ceteris paribus conditions. We see this is a very, very advanced approach. When all the markets, they are operating at equilibrium, we can find that this market is going to achieve, free market system will achieve what? Allocative efficiency. Do you think all the markets are operating at equilibrium? There can be the reallocation of resources. Some goods are producing more quantity. Suppose this is food market in which we are having shortage of food. Only less supply of food is available. Okay? Less supply of food is available. Rather than equilibrium, we are having less supply of food. So there is going to be under allocation of resources. This market is showing us a disequilibrium condition. It is not going to have the right allocation of resources for the food item. Whereas reallocated from the production of clothes to the production of food item. So when resources are reallocated, we can find that both market will reach to an equilibrium condition. So whenever we find that market forces are not clearing whatever the demands are there by the consumers and they are not supplied by the producers in the right quantity, there can be a disequilibrium condition and market forces will not be achieving allocated efficiencies. Either there is going to be overproduction or underproduction. So when all these markets are operating at equilibrium condition, then we will be seeing that we are having efficiency and allocated efficiencies fulfilled. I will explain you more things regarding the social benefit and social cost when we will be studying the externalities, that allocated efficiency will be achieved when social desirable level of output is produced by the market forces of demand and supply. Social desirable level of output can be achieved when social benefits are equal to the social cost of production. That will come in our later lessons in case of externalities. Okay. Now, in order to analyze, this is about the understanding and knowledge of the allocated efficiency. Now we are going to analyze how this equilibrium condition is showing us the allocative efficiency point. Do you know what is the consumer aid? When consumer is consuming something, he or she is getting satisfaction or utility. We say satisfaction is a utility gained by the consumer by consuming certain commodity. Like you are consuming a drink, Coca-Cola or Pepsi, so you are getting satisfaction out of that. Alright? So the consumers, they want to maximize their satisfaction, whatever the amount they are going to pay for it. Okay? Utility can be of two types. It is marginal utility and total utility. Total means how many units of a commodity you have or I have consumed within given time period, and each unit is giving me a different level of satisfaction. So marginal utility means what? The additional utility of the consumption of an additional unit. Like if you are drinking one glass of water during a hot weather, the first glass of water will give you more satisfaction than the second one. And the third one will be having lower satisfaction than the second one. It happens in our daily life. Okay? So marginal utility means the additional satisfaction of any additional unit consumed. And it is diminishing as consumer is consuming more units of a commodity. So its marginal utility of the extra unit will be lower than the previous unit consumed within the same time. I want to explain you one thing. This utility topic will be coming in our next chapter. But for the sake of allocative efficiency, I am using the same concept over here. How consumer is deciding how many units he is going to buy in the market? How will he decide? If you remember the concept of consumer surplus, do you remember?
Yes.
The willingness to pay and actual payment. Why consumer is willing to pay more price for the first unit? Because it gives more satisfaction, more utility. And he or she is ready to pay a high price. So as the successive units are having lower satisfaction, so his willingness to pay will also be decreasing. Here we say this demand curve shows us what? Marginal utility. What does it show? Marginal utility. This is the market price. So the first unit, if I say the first unit is having more marginal utility than the price paid.
Is high.
Okay, his welfare is high. So he is ready to buy an extra unit. When marginal utility is higher than the price, his quantity demand will be increasing. He or she will be buying an extra unit because the first unit gave more marginal utility than the price paid. When you go to the market and you buy something, you say, okay, it has given me more satisfaction than I have paid the price for this product. So you will buy an extra unit. And if for the next unit the marginal utility will be price paid by the consumer will be higher than the marginality, so he will not go beyond this point, or he will decrease consumption of this commodity as price paid by the consumer that is higher than the satisfaction gain for the next unit. So how much unit consumer is going to buy? Suppose there are going to be 5 units over here where this condition is fulfilled. It does not mean that his total satisfaction is 0. It means that on all the previous units he has gained the satisfaction. This last 5th unit is having 0 consumer surplus, or you can say the marginality is rightly equal to the price paid by the consumer, but all the area, the previous area under the demand curve is showing us the consumer welfare. He has achieved more welfare by consuming all the previous units. So he is not going beyond this point. Therefore, demand curve in the market is showing us the consumer behavior that he or she is going to pay the price where the marginality of the last unit consumed is equal to the price paid. All the previous units are giving him more satisfaction. Clear? So we find that this is the demand or the consumer behavior. If I talk about the producer, what producer name is there? What is the producer name? Do you know what is the producer aim? To maximize profit. He is producing the output to maximize profit. If I say this is now supply curve, which is upward sloping, what does it, why is it upward sloping in our AS level? We talked about why the supply curve is upward sloping. The reason is when price increases on the previous units, whatever they have been produced by the producer, the profit of the producer is going to rise. So he is ready to supply more of. But the thing is that this supply curve is representing the marginal cost of production. MC means marginal cost, and marginal means what? The additional cost of production for the production of an additional unit. Clear? So look here, what is happening? When producer was producing first unit, his marginal cost was this one. In order to produce an extra unit, he has to hire more working hours by the labor, more raw material, more other things which are necessary to produce, and his total cost will be slightly changing. And the change in total cost is basically the marginal cost for every extra unit. So as we see, this is the price of the product in the market. This first unit is having this marginal cost, but the price received by the producer is higher than that marginal cost. That will encourage producer to produce an extra unit, because on this particular unit he is able to earn marginal profit. Clear? So as extra units are produced, his marginal cost is rising, and this is the point where price is equal to the marginal cost. Do you think he will produce more than this?
No.
Where marginal cost will be higher than the price? Clear or not? So if you remember, we studied this is the area of total producer surplus. The producer welfare is shown by area above the supply curve and below the market price, whereas consumer welfare is shown where the area under the demand curve and above the market price. So now I want to explain this thing again by using these concepts of marginal benefit or marginality and marginal cost. If you see over here, again, now this is the demand curve which shows us marginal utility. In some of the books you will be looking here, it is written marginal benefit, one and the same thing. Okay, so here it is, supply shows what? Marginal cost. So in order to achieve allocative efficiency, at equilibrium what is happening? Price is equal to marginal cost, and that's also equal to the marginal utility gained by the consumer for the last unit consumed. So we see at market equilibrium price, both consumer and producers, they are able to maximize their welfare as the price paid by the consumer equal to the marginality of the last unit consumed, and the price received by the seller is equal to the marginal cost of the last unit produced. So this is the total consumer surplus which is maximized. This is total producer surplus which is maximized. Clear? If there is less production than this equilibrium, if less output is produced or supplied by the consumer, what happens? This is called what? Deadweight loss, if you remember. This is the consumer surplus loss, this is producer surplus loss, and we can say market is not working efficiently because there is the presence of the welfare losses of both consumers and producers. So any point other than equilibrium, even at this higher level of output, any point other than equilibrium will show us the welfare losses of consumers and producers. That's why any disequilibrium will have allocative inefficiency. Clear? I wanted to explain the allocative efficiency by using this market mechanism of demand and supply. What is actually the reason we say the market equilibrium is the allocative efficiency point? Why not the other point? The reason is any point other than the market equilibrium will show us the welfare losses of consumers or producers. This is called the deadweight loss. So we cannot say the resources are efficiently allocated when market is away from equilibrium. And when it is operating at equilibrium, it will give us efficient allocation of resources in that particular market, and we can say allocative efficiency condition is achieved by the market forces of demand and supply. Alright or not? Anything which is difficult to you people, you can raise questions. Otherwise, I will be moving towards allocative efficiency of the firm, the single firm. Yeah? Any question? So why market forces, they are allocatively efficient? In all the market, this will be working, and market clearing price will have this condition to be fulfilled. When this condition is fulfilled, we say resources are having allocative efficiency. Alright? Now this is efficiency condition in the market. When producer is producing the output, I explained you one thing, the price set by the producer will be equal to the marginal cost of production. Clear? Now, if this condition is achieved, that price charged by the producer is equal to the marginal cost of production, then producer is achieving his allocative efficiency condition. What is marginal cost? If I say this is the quantity produced, this is total cost, this is marginal cost. When first unit is produced, there is 100 total cost. When second unit is produced, there is going to be 100 and you can see 105, you can see 110. What is the additional cost of output? When extra unit is produced, the marginal cost is 10. That is the change in total cost due to an extra unit produced. Marginal cost is basically change in total cost due to change in the quantity produced. When the third unit is produced, what is happening? It is 115. What is the marginal cost now? 5. When the fourth unit is produced, what is happening? Now it is 117, the marginal cost will be 2. So when we find the fifth unit is marginal cost at the start, it starts decreasing. So when the fifth unit is produced, it is now 126, you can see, though it is now 9. So marginal cost increased sharply. From 2 it is now 9. So if it is the sixth unit that we see, this is going to have 140. So the marginal cost will be 14. So actually what is happening? What will be the shape of marginal cost curve? I want to explain the shape right now. This will be the shape of marginal cost. First it goes down, then steeply it is increasing. It's a steep path of marginal cost. Steeply it is falling. Not by a constant rate, and it is steeply rising. Clear? So when this is the price in the market, the firm is the price taker, it is not the price setter. Market forces have given the firm, this is the price you have to sell at this going price. So what do you think? Price is equal to marginal cost market demand and market supply. So this marginal cost curve is having the conditionality that price is equal to marginal cost at this equilibrium point. So before this point, we see price is higher than marginal cost. Clear? And after this point, marginal cost will be higher than the price. So allocative efficiency of the firm will be the point where price equals to the marginal cost of production of the last unit produced. When this condition is fulfilled, that price is equal to marginal cost, the firm will achieve allocative efficiency in its production of the goods. I am not drawing over here the average total cost, I am talking about the allocative efficiency. Yesterday we were talking about productive efficiency, that could be explained by using average total cost. When we talk about allocative efficiency of the firm, that could be achieved by equating price with the marginal cost of production. So the firm will be able to achieve allocative efficiency. Follow? So if we combine both productive and allocative efficiencies of the firm in single diagram, then if a firm is able to achieve both productive and allocative efficiencies, then we can easily say the firm is achieving economic efficiency, because both the conditions of productive and allocative efficiencies, they have been fulfilled. Now the firm will be able to achieve economic efficiency. I am drawing over here, you can better understand. Now I am taking over 100 rupees. This is the price of the product. This is the marginal cost. So if I draw the average cost over here at the same point. So this is the equilibrium point of output produced. Can we see in this diagram, the firm is producing at the minimum point of its average cost? The minimum point available, minimum point of the available average total cost is this one. So it is achieving what? Productive efficiency. And the price charged by the firm is also equal to the marginal cost of production. So both the conditions of, productive efficiency, productive and allocative efficiencies are achieved. So can I say this is going to have, this is productive and allocative efficiencies, this is equal to what? Economic efficiency. What it is? When this firm is producing at the minimum point of average cost and it is also charging price equal to the marginal cost of production, so this firm is showing us what? Economic efficiency. Both the efficiency conditions are fulfilled. So if any other firm in the market, it is producing at this point, then we say economic efficiency is achieved by this type of firm. Clear? So I started with my point of allocative efficiency in the market, allocative efficiency in the firm. I explained the market forces of demand and supply. I have analyzed and applied your knowledge as well, how it can be applied in the real life, like marginal utility and marginal cost concepts, and then equated the allocative efficiency conditions in the market, and then I started to move on the single firm, because in any industry means there are many firms which are producing the same type of product. So if every firm is achieving this condition of marginal cost with price and it is also producing at the minimum of average cost, so that industry will be achieving economic efficiency. Or a single firm which is achieving these conditions, so that will be having economic efficiency conditions to be fulfilled. I think it's okay, or something more should be done. Pareto efficiency is left over in this topic. This is also a type of allocative efficiency, Pareto optimality or Pareto efficiency. If you have time, I can go ahead for that topic. Okay, that's all for today. See you on Monday with a new topic.